I've played Super Mario games for a very long time. The original Super Mario game was my first video game I ever played on my very first console ever, the Nintendo Entertainment System. My parents bought it back in 1989 when I just turned 5 years old. Mario took me a while to learn how to play and to also deal with using a controller for the first time, developing the muscle memory needed so I didn't have to look at the controller as I was playing so I could look at the screen, guiding Super Mario from one platform to another, while fighting enemies and taking names and finding out the princess is in another castle. I played all the sequels as they came out and wound up watching the VHS tapes of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show religiously, while also watching them on TV at 2 p.m. Central Monday through Thursday, with Legend of Zelda being on Fridays. Heck, I used to cry if I was forced to miss them on certain days.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers.
Years later, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System comes out with even more iconic Mario games, an updated compilation of the original NES games, and a live-action film that my dad and I went to see in early 1993. Even as a kid, I was like, what the hell is this? But I still tried to enjoy it despite the fact that it was batshit crazy, and watching it now as an adult, you realize it's not really for kids, and you wonder who the hell it was even made for in the first place. I'm sure by now you can see where I'm going with this. I have a massive history with Nintendo and Super Mario that precedes even my history with Star Trek. With Mario and Luigi's origins from Brooklyn being retconned by Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo, I thought the chance for another Mario film was moot. It's hard to believe that it took 3 more decades for Nintendo themselves to pursue a movie adaptation of their iconic jumping plumber, but this time be wiser about it and achieve it through the animation medium, with said animation studio being Illumination, known for the Despicable Me films. I had my misgivings after live reacting to the announcements of who was going to be voice acting our iconic Super Mario characters, but I can quite honestly say I am glad that my misgivings were misplaced. I'm going to include some spoilers in this review, so tune out now, hit the subscribe and like button, go see the movie, and then come back to hear the rest of the review. From start to finish, the Super Mario Bros. Movie was a massive delight to myself, who grew up with the franchise. The voice acting was phenomenal. Chris Pratt did a great job as Mario, Jack Black as a menacing yet simping Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Charlie Day as Luigi, and heck, I didn't even have issues with Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong. None of the performances took me out of the movie, and I was happy to see that Charles Martinet, the classic Mario voice actor, had a role as a character closely related to Mario and Luigi. As a fan of the original Super Mario Bros. Super Show, I was also delighted that they revisited the idea that Mario and Luigi were brothers from Brooklyn, as a way to honor that show and the live-action movie, and in doing so, the creators of this not only wanted this to be for kids, but for people who were children in both the 80s, 90s, all the way to the present. In other words, I personally feel this movie was made for everyone. Everyone who played the games or had the delight of watching their children play. The story is not the strongest, but if you've ever played any Mario game, with the exception of maybe the RPG games, you don't really play it for the strong, compelling narrative. You play it for the thrill of the level design, the bright, colorful platforming elements, the obstacles that could knock your ass in a pit, and of course, the enemies. The movie showcases all that. We see the Mario Brothers running around in Brooklyn in a fixed side-scrolling shot going from left to right, jumping from platform to platform. We also see Mario struggling to complete one of Princess Toadstool's obstacle courses, a nod to Super Mario Maker. Something that she manages to be the best at, which I was kind of annoyed at first, but not as big of a deal since I know she is capable of traversing Mario levels, especially if you play Super Mario Bros. 2 and Super Mario 3D World. I personally think they should have limited her abilities so that Mario had more room to shine, but that's just me. Instead of the princess being captured, Luigi plays the plumber in distress as he and Mario are sucked into an iconic green pipe in the deep sewers of Brooklyn, and they get separated during the flight. Luigi lands in Darkland, while Mario lands in the Mushroom Kingdom. Luigi gets captured, while Mario meets Toad, and hence Toad helps Mario sneak in the Mushroom Kingdom to meet Princess Toadstool. Bowser's role is the same as in the games. He starts conquering kingdoms to get Power Stars and wants Toadstool's hand in marriage, just like in Super Mario Odyssey. With the Mushroom Kingdom at stake, they need help to fight Bowser, so they go to the Kong Kingdom and try to get King Cranky Kong and his son Donkey Kong to help them fight Koopa. Mario and DK fight on a very familiar purple truss platform to riding carts Super Mario Kart style down a rainbow road to get to the Mushroom Kingdom before Bowser takes it by force. There are so many nods to earlier games. We hear the classic athletic theme from Super Mario Bros. 3. We also see the Tanuki suit from both 3 and 3D Land, as well as many others. Yes, there is lots of fan service, Easter eggs, and member berries, but I feel this was done to connect to the viewer in good faith. I will say, hearing the plumber's rap and the nods to the Super Show really brought me the feels. Yep, I remember. One last thing, I always wondered why Princess Toadstool looked like a human as opposed to the Toads, and this movie actually addresses it, and I wonder if they will follow up on this in a future sequel. As happy as I am with this movie, there are a few gripes that I want to address. For starters, the use of pop music in this video game-based film. Like Sonic before, filmmakers like to incorporate pop music that clearly does not need to be in this movie at all. Like in this case, hearing Take On Me, amongst others, just felt unnecessary and wasted money. Same with the use of celebrity voice actors. Super Mario is probably one of the most famous video games in the world, and I believe this would sell itself. I do feel that the celebrities did a good job for the most part, but I think full-time voice actors would probably do a better job for less of the cost. Daniel has a good take on this. Though I like the movie, he still has some good points as food for thought. The link to his video is in the description. With all that said, let's not kid ourselves. This movie is going to be massively successful, and it will create a cinematic Nintendo universe that I hope doesn't make the same mistakes that Disney, Paramount, Amazon, Netflix, and all the other big streaming services are making. Make a product that entertains and that connects to not only your audience, but also to itself, and incentivize people to want to see more down the line. What I hope to see is Illumination continuing to work on the franchises that cover the more child-friendly properties like Mario, Yoshi, DK, Pikmin, Star Fox. Zelda, I actually prefer them go for a more anime style to appeal to older audiences, and Metroid should be more of a mature, silent thriller along the vein of Primal, but with Samus and a baby Metroid as the focus. Who knows what the future will bring for Nintendo fans? The Super Mario Bros. Movie goes out of its way to honor the source material, something that many video game related projects have failed to do, so this movie is a breath of fresh air. Like Sonic before, I feel the filmmakers considered the fans and wanted to make a movie for them, but also to make it for people of all ages, because this is a movie for literally everybody. It honors the old show, the old 2D and 3D games, and answers questions you never thought would ever be answered. If you're on the fence about this, just go into it as a fan of the video games. It is not The Godfather in terms of deep, compelling narrative, but a simple, fun story that you and the kids can enjoy and bond over. I would say, don't listen to the critics and go see this movie, because you will not only enjoy it, you will be moved by it. Check out my Mario retrospectives if you're new here, links are also in the description, and please consider subscribing and following me on social media. Please leave a comment on what you thought of the Mario movie, and please share some of your history with Nintendo and the Mario franchise. Stay Nerdporio, and see you on the next video.